Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, thank y'all, man. This is Real Talk with Mike Steele. I'm in the building, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk with Mike Steele. Hey, I have a special guest. Gonna chop it up, have some conversation with me. You know how we do it, man. All the time. Guys, let's welcome my guy. But look, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. I do a thing that when I have my guys come on, I do a thing, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
I do a thing. But let me just call his name, man. Mr. Eddie Sharp in the
What's
building.
going on, man?
All right. Eddie, how you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain. How about yourself?
Man, I'm good, man. It's been an honor to have you in. I reached out to you. We spoke maybe almost a month ago, and we are here, brother.
Yes, sir.
We made it, man. Never could have made it. Anyway, we here. Me and Eddie's here. So, Eddie, I do this thing. One word only. One word. Who is Eddie Sharp in one word?
Inquisitive.
And that goes along with this profession, y'all. Inquisitive.
Inquisitive.
I don't have any. Normally I say, what makes you inquisitive?
I got questions to ask.
Yeah.
It's way too many answers and not enough questions. And I'm asking the questions so I can get to the answers.
You get to the bottom of
I'm
it.
getting to it.
You got to get to it.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Stepped in.
All right. Guys in the building, man. I have my guy, Eddie Sharp, CEO of Hope Counseling, social media content provider, mental health professional. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, May. So I thought that I would do my audience a favor and bring someone in that's a professional, and let's chop it up like we always do. Man, y'all give it up for my guy, my man, Eddie Sharp.
Appreciate that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for having me here, too. It's definitely a conversation we need to be having out here.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to have you, Eddie. I'm stoked, man. I'm glad to have you in. Talk about, let's just talk, man. That's all we can do. Have a good conversation, talk. Yeah. Guys, man, y'all make sure y'all share, like this content. Maybe we can help somebody that may be struggling, going through a difficult time. That's the goal. That's my aim. So we're in the building. Eddie, man, where you from, brother?
I'm from Lanett, Alabama. It's down about 20 minutes from Auburn, right on the borderline to Georgia. So close that we can walk down the street and get lottery tickets. So close that I got a 706 area code instead of a 334.
Yes, Lanett.
Lanett, Alabama. If you heard of Lanett, Phoenix City, Valley.
Yeah, Phoenix City.
They all in the same little cluster area over there in Chambers County area.
Man, I didn't know. So when you get to Montgomery,
okay,
are we taking 65?
We taking 85.
85.
We're taking 85 towards Atlanta.
Okay,
matter of fact, if you hit 85 towards Atlanta from Montgomery, when you see Welcome to Georgia, you just left Lanett.
Oh man, oh man,
yeah.
Okay,
you just left Lanett. You're gonna be in West Point, Georgia, right there.
West Point, Georgia. Okay, yeah. West Point, Georgia. Gotcha, man. And now you here. How long you been in Alabama?
I've been in Alabama my whole life.
I mean,
I've been in Birmingham since 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
All right, I'll ask you some more leading questions after that.
You
man.
good? I spent some time in North Carolina. I got my dad live up there and my sister. I spent some time in Hawaii over the pandemic. I moved to Hawaii. And outside of that, I've been in Alabama.
That man was in Hawaii. Okay.
It was beautiful.
I bet it was. Yeah. I bet it was. So, in a nutshell, all right, let's jump right into it, man. I want to know about you. I want to learn something about you that I may not know. And there's a lot that I don't know about you. Yeah. So, in fact, in the last couple of months or a month or so, we just really met.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfect. I don't want to ask too many questions because I want to learn like everybody else.
Yeah.
Learned, okay. When I first met you. So
yeah.
Let's just start at middle school age, learning about you, Eddie Sharp.
Okay.
Okay. let's talk about your mom and dad for a second.
Okay.
Talk about that. Just
So Pops was in jail.
okay.
My dad got locked up when I was 3 years old. And I remember the day the police kicked in because, he was doing some, shenanigans with the drugs and all of that stuff.
Okay,
right?
okay.
And so I remember the day they kicked in the door, and this is the beginning of a long journey of me understanding, of me asking questions. Because the first question was, what happened to daddy? Like nobody answered the questions, right?
Right.
And so we moved in next to my grandmama and my granddaddy, my mama's parents. And from there, whatever my mama experienced with my daddy threw her into the deep end of the gospel. So we going to church 6 days a week.
6 days a week.
6 days a week.
I'm glad you want to go 8 days a week.
I know, right? Now, and it wasn't like church every day,
Yeah.
but it was more like women's prayer on Monday. Tuesday was a free day. Wednesday was Bible study. Thursday, kids choir practice. Friday, adult choir practice.
Yeah, it's just somewhere in the church at some capacity.
Saturday, we going to visit my daddy in prison, or we going to sing at the nursing home with people, and we have 2 services of church to go to on Sundays. This is every week for up till I could work. Until I could work.
Now, who is us? How many kids?
Me and my brother.
Okay,
I got
so
a younger brother.
Okay, you got a younger brother,
Yeah.
so both of y'all. Okay,
Now,
gotcha.
I got 2 older siblings, but they have a different mom.
Yeah,
And my dad is the link. But when he went to jail, they went to their side of town.
yeah.
We went to our side of half
Word.
town, and we didn't really spend
Gotcha.
that much time with each other.
Gotcha.
So in between that, by middle school, I'm at my second stepdaddy.
Okay.
Which both of my stepdaddies were pastors.
Oh, okay.
So it just followed the same thing. It's like she was gravitating towards whatever could save her, give her salvation from what that experience was.
Yeah, she was totally opposite. She went from one extreme to the whole.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But they happened to be not so different from the extreme that she was used to, because one of them ended up stealing cars while he was in the pulpit, and one of them ended up getting back on drugs heavy while he was in the pulpit. You know, what that taught me is that pastors are men first and then pastors second.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what I learned. And it's it's helpful to give them grace as being men rather than exaltation as being pastors when they make mistakes. I think that sometimes that's important to recognize.
Yeah.
That took me on a journey because, to try to get out of going to church, I started going to work all the time. I was like, please put me on the schedule. Put me on the schedule. Son, I don't care what day, what morning, anytime.
And you were telling mom I got to work.
I was telling her I got to work. And she was giving me a pass for a while. But when I started working on Sundays, because I went to the boss, I put me on for Sundays. And I did it for about 2 months, and she said, if they put you on another Sunday, you're going to have to quit that job.
Ooh.
And I went to the old ladies. I was like, hey, ladies, it was good while it lasted. Because they knew the story. They knew what it was.
They knew
it was good while it lasted, ladies. I told y'all it was coming. But that took me down a path of that whole journey. It's a lot of questions I need to ask about my family. It's a lot of things I'm observing. It's a lot of things I'm experiencing. It's a lot of emotions I'm going through. But I'm also in a society where they have not given men the freedom to express emotionally. As a matter of fact, we ain't supposed to be emotional.
No,
we ain't supposed to show vulnerability.
Supposed to mask those feelings.
You push those things down, and that's what was happening. It's like, and I got out of that home and started realizing a lot of things about the world. But that starts with mom and daddy. That starts with the journey that they had and the decisions they made.
So mom, so dad went off to prison. Mom, went to the extreme.
It's not extreme. It's just she was trying to recover from something.
That's right. She was trying to heal herself the way she needed to do. And I, what way to heal yourself better to get closer to God.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. So, but so how was middle school for you? Is that
middle school?
Did that kind of thing affect you going to school and any issues with school because of?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. But it didn't because I was nominated to be the quietest kid in the school in all my senior years.
Yeah?
I was quiet. I did not talk. Like around my senior year, I started kind of people started seeing me be more engaging. Like I talked to my friends at home and family and stuff. But at school, I never talked. So I was just the quiet kid.
Why was that?
I've processed this with myself. I used to always search for the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And the right thing was relative because right meant what would bring me closer to people, what would make people accept me. And I would always try to figure out what's the right thing to say in any given moment. But by the time the moment passed, it's too late to say, right? Yeah. And so I spent
So you were thinking too much.
I was thinking too much.
Yeah, it was inside your head.
And I was in my head asking all them questions.
Yeah.
I was asking all the questions.
Question.
Is this the right thing? Should I say this? Should I say that? And it took me until the age of 26 to realize that there's no such thing as the right thing to say.
Yeah.
Just what you say and your willingness to stand beside it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how informed you are about the thing that you say.
Yeah.
So I really just started informing myself
Yeah.
about the world.
Yeah.
And to where I feel like I can fit into many conversations.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
once I got that piece together, it turned into me talking. I can't shut up now. For real.
Eddie be talking, y'all.
I told the whole profession where I talk for a living, right?
Eddie be, yeah, exactly. Eddie be talking on TikTok. Y'all go check my guy out. Hey, man, if you're just joining me, we talking to Eddie Sharp, mental health professional, CEO of Hope Counseling, owner of Hope Counseling. So middle school, you how was your grades, man? You know, like,
my grades were good. My grades were
good.
good.
You had a lot of friends in middle school?
I had a select group of friends. I won't say I had many friends. I had potent friends. I had friends that are still friends today.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah. I mean, I trip and fell into people that were just really good in my environment. Like, it wasn't nothing that I did special. What I think was I was perceived to be a good listener because I was quiet.
Yeah.
And so it was easy when people feel like you the listener, they bring you all the stuff and it's like, okay, that person cool.
Yeah.
I can talk to them, I can engage with
them. And you
them.
got to worry about him repeating it.
Exactly. You know, so it's like it was a mutual relationship. So you find out, because some people do be overwhelming, but you choose who you veer away from in that versus who you gravitate to. So, you know, maybe just that environment where I was quiet, my observations and listening to people without trying to figure out how to talk as much as, you know, I would come to today. Became how I started to put people in my life on purpose.
So did you like middle school? Was it something that you like, you know, like?
I like school. I did not like missing school. Even though I was quiet, I didn't have any. I like school. I didn't like missing school.
Why you like missing school, Eddie?
I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
I was just one of those kids that had quirks.
I mean, the reason I asked that question, because I kind of feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't no A student, but but school was a social hour for me.
Yeah.
You know, I had fun, you know, like, we got together, people were there, you know, it's kind of like a hangout spot.
Yeah.
And it was, I guess, it was a safe place for some of us too.
Yeah.
You know.
It wasn't, you know, home wasn't bad enough to be like I'm going to school to
maybe
escape.
not for you.
Yeah, for
me.
me.
Yeah, maybe not for you, but for some of us, it was like, man, let's go to school before we kill somebody.
Yeah, no, I work with a lot of kids in that scenario, but it's like, when I go back in process, like, it wasn't nothing at home that was bad enough. It was just, school was a different place. Like, what I've come to learn about myself today is I really like hearing other people's stories and understanding people's experiences. So just being in school and learning about people, I love that, you know? And so the best vantage point to do that from is where you're quiet and you're observing instead of, you know, trying to do stuff to get attention like the class clown might do when you're that age, you know? Or the star athlete might do because he get the attention. And it's like, it's a lot of people like, I want that kind of attention, you know?
Yeah.
But me, I was just looking at the dynamics between the people.
Even then,
yeah.
Even then, you was like tuned in, like learning about people. Also, maybe have some self-doubt about yourself in the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, I was still trying to figure out how to be accepted by people by saying the right things.
Yeah.
I just never got around to saying it.
Yeah. And that way everybody perceived you to be a great listener though. Because you wasn't a outward talker. You was in your head trying to figure out what to say and the whole time, but you listening.
Yeah.
But you always you on point with it. Listen. Yeah. Hey, active listening. Eddie is a pro.
That's what you're doing, you know.
Eddie is a pro.
Therapeutic skill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now middle school, you played in sports?
I played sports. I played football. I've played baseball for a while, and I played basketball.
Because it's big down there. I'm sure sports is big down there where you from now.
Football, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Football, we in it.
Yeah. So then now you matriculate to high school.
Right.
Yeah. How was high school for you?
High school was good. High school was I played football, so I was involved in the team. My grades weren't great. Yeah. You know, they were good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
They were good enough to not get whoopings, but not good enough to be in the honor society.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I'm going to get some good grades. Now, Eddie, knowing you and just observing you and just being, you know, they could have been better.
Absolutely.
They could have been better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where my mama's, I got whoopings for not listening to the pastor, but never got a whooping for a bad grade. She
was like, hey, you better not, yeah. I don't care what that teacher say, but you better listen to this pastor.
So you can be dumb in heaven. like that's kind of like my mama's. Kind of like that's how I felt it was.
Boy, that's funny. Did you feel like that as a kid?
Yes, it was overwhelming because there are immediate
Do
fixes.
people think you funny, Eddie? Go ahead.
I'm conversation funny.
Okay.
I ain't stand up funny.
Okay, gotcha.
You know. But when you are going to church as much as we did, it has immediate effects because you can't do stuff after school with your friends if you know you gotta go to choir practice after school.
Yeah.
We also sang. Me and my brother, we sang as the Sharp Boys around, and so.
Oh, do you do that now? Can you say?
I can hold a note.
Okay, gotcha.
Outside of that, it's one of those things where if it had been nurtured differently, maybe I could sing. But it's like because we were forced to sing in the way that we were, it's still a shell to break out of, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just now trying to learn to go to karaoke and do some stuff to where it's like,
oh, okay,
let me get these notes out.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Because I sing 100% of the time when I'm in the shower, when I'm in the house, when I'm cooking.
Yeah.
You know.
But now you try to get the courage to go out and say, okay.
Yeah. And again, I can hold a note.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I like to sing. So I would love to be able to do it more freely in karaoke and things like that. And so those things really kind of like, you see the immediate effects of them. You know, my homies be like, hey, we finna hoop after school. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to get out of what mama got us doing.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Mama, I want to go to grandmama's house after school. Now we going to church. You know, now we going to Bible study.
You can go to grandma's house after service.
Yeah.
On Sunday.
Yeah. So you see the immediate effects of that. And so it's two warring sides. It's like the thing that we doing ain't bad because there is some social component to church that is valuable.
Great.
My friends at church.
Yeah.
You know, but my friends at school too.
Yeah.
I don't get to do the stuff that they get to do. And also other kids only come to church on Sunday. They don't come to all of that other stuff with their mamas.
Yeah.
We be the only kids in there on those days, you know?
Yeah.
So
it could be a little bit
overwhelming,
Yeah, it could be a little bit overwhelming, man. You know, like and almost like force fed to you. Yeah. So were you a pretty good kid? Well, it sounded like you weren't a kid that got in a lot of trouble.
I didn't. I was pretty good. The trouble we got in was just me and my brother would get into it.
Yeah.
My mama worked
just
third shift.
A little sibling thing.
It wasn't even bad. My mama worked third shift, and so anything that we did to wake her up, everybody getting a whooping. You know, so she would work third shift, do all of her like church related and home related stuff while we were in school, and when we got out, she would sleep. So this is what was going on for years. So we didn't have that much supervision.
Yeah.
So we legitimately, you know, outside of like when we had to do church stuff.
Right.
You know, but waking her up was one of the worst things we could do on the day when we didn't have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody getting whooping.
Oh my God.
And it'll just be me and my brother be out there playing, and I'll trip and fall, and I'll come in and
crying.
I don't know how to take care of myself. I don't know Band-Aids and stuff. So I say, Mama, I hurt myself. What y'all was doing when we was outside? Okay, well, y'all finna get a whooping because y'all woke me up.
Yeah.
Type situation, you know?
Yeah, you better not mess with a black woman while they trying to go to sleep and they go work third shift.
You know?
You better get...
Yeah, that's the trouble with you because I don't wake nobody up to this day. You got to give me direct instructions to wake you up, boy. You finna sleep.
No, for real, though. I can get that, man, because... Yeah, I mean, it's almost it's like anything we do, we get trained and conditioned to do certain things, and that kind of stuck with you. It's not a bad thing. It's like, hey, man, I'm not gonna wake you up. And in my household, once I go to sleep because I'm not a deep sleeper, and it's everybody know. Don't wake him up, please. He finally going to sleep. Let him sleep. Yeah. Because when I wake up, man, I have the biggest attitude because I don't go to sleep because I have these racing. I definitely have ADHD.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I do. I'm not medicating myself. I don't do that. Only time when I did consider having some medication is when I went and got my master's. I realized that I was working at that time and I couldn't focus the way I need to focus. Yeah. And I took it for a while. After I finished college, got my master's, I stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, now and I learned to live with it. It's just like a creative chaos type of thing, though. But
so basically, when you get woke up, your brain go from 0 to 100 immediately.
Hey, I mean, like it's back. It's woke. My brain is like, I don't. And I'm always thinking about the next thing, the next thing. So so they know not to wake me up. Don't wake me up.
Gotcha.
Guys, if y'all joining me right now, you're listening. We talking with Eddie Sharp, mental health professional, owner of Hope Counseling. We're gonna talk about Hope Counseling in a minute because I want to know where it is and how people connect and all those things. So we got a lot of conversation still to go. So high school, were you a popular kid?
No, quiet kid.
Quiet kid. Still. So
this was all my 12 years of school.
It was
I'm
the
quiet.
Same. Yeah.
As a senior, I got a little bit more vocal because our football team was doing pretty good, and I ended up getting some decent hits in a couple of games. And like people start talking to you when you do something.
Yeah, especially in a small town.
Yeah,
small town like what's the name of the city again?
Lynette.
Lynette. When you're a small town like in Lynette, Alabama,
yeah,
people get to talking. What the population is over there, Eddie? What you think? What you thought it was back then? Just an estimate.
Probably about.
How many traffic lights?
Probably about 10.
10.
My graduating class was 58 people.
Oh my! What?
58 people.
It's a 1A school.
At the time, it was 4A.
No.
Yeah, and then I don't know. It got to be something related to sports that kept us at such a high 4A because it's a 1A now, and I don't even think the population had declined that much. So it probably should have never been a 4A.
Well, yeah.
But it's a 1 or 2A now.
Okay.
You know, but we were playing a lot of 4A, 5A.
I'm sure you were
5A.
Yeah.
And like we going both sides with teams that got third string.
Oh, y'all was doing that then?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, y'all was definitely out of class.
From offensive guard to defensive end.
Yeah.
Our quarterback went from quarterback to cornerback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all was out. Yeah, politics is politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all was out. Yeah. Y'all should probably never have been in that classification. 58 kids, man. I graduated in I played football in 2A high school back in Florida, and we had over 150 people graduate. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And we were 2 games away from the championship game, my senior year. As a 2A school, as a 4A school, that's 2A size playing against other 4A.
That's
schools.
crazy. Y'all must have some good talent though.
We had some good talent, and we crazy conditioning.
Yeah.
Our coach was putting. He called it the gauntlet. We ran around the whole perimeter of the school. We knew when he said, "Hey, gauntlet," I'm like, ugh. You know, we had kids that would do half of the gauntlet, then cut through the school to go to the other side, and then cut out on the other side. Like
that is bad.
But see, that's one of those moments where you learn how much your own principles is worth.
Yeah.
Because I could have done it too, but I never did.
But you never did it, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was more important to me to finish it the way that it was meant to be finished.
Yeah.
To be able to tell people I finished it.
Yeah.
Versus I can't do that without telling you a lie.
I was too afraid to do that though. I was like, if I did that, man, I don't even know if it was just morals at that time for me.
Yeah.
It was more like, if you did it, you're going to get in trouble by a coach and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But if you had some insight to say, hey, I'm talking about something as simple as cutting through the school to get to the other side. If you had those type of morals back then in high school, man, that's great because I don't know if I did. I'm just speaking honestly. I just knew I couldn't do it because I didn't want to be chewed out by the coach.
Well, you know, I said the first time, I said I get whoopings for not listening to the pastor, but not whooping for bad grades. The first time I made an F was in the 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a rip the Band-Aid off type of kid at that point in time.
Yeah.
I got my report card. I walked home and I took it straight into the kitchen where my mama was washing dishes at. Mama, I got an F. And she said, you're going to do better next time.
Oh, boy.
Never made another F again.
Yeah.
Because my thing was disappointing the people who had expectations of me.
Man, so I guess that's on the same line of what I'm talking about now. Is because I do live by those principles.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like to disappoint people. Yeah.
And the line between fear and disappointment is very thin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it could have been I was afraid to disappoint them, but a lot of it was just seeing the disappointment in the face of my mama or my granddaddy, which was a coach himself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of how I respected coaches, even though some of them didn't deserve as much respect,
exactly.
it was through the lens of how much I respected my granddaddy as a coach.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't do that to my granddaddy, so I wouldn't do it to no coach.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha. All right, let's move on, man. So we talking about now you finished high school. Things you had any plans, or what were your plans after high school?
Well, my grandparents are both college graduates. They were both teachers, right? And so
Your
I was gonna
grandparents
go
on
to college
the grandparents on
my mama's side.
your mama's
Yeah.
side. Okay.
Now my grandparents
Maternal
on my
grandparents.
daddy's side, she's the one that we were going to visit my daddy in prison every week. We were going to visit him weekly, not weekly, bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. Okay.
Yeah. So she was there. We was with her every other week. But my parents, my mama's parents were school teachers. And so college was always in the plan,
Okay.
you know, because they was always talking about college. And my granddaddy didn't want us to go to the military because he was in the military. He did not want that for us. Whatever his experience was, he didn't want that for us.
Granddad.
Granddaddy, yeah.
Okay. He didn't want the military.
He didn't want the military.
Okay. On your daddy's side.
On my mama's side.
On your mama's side.
Yeah.
Okay, but he went to college though.
He went to college.
So that makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Because he was an athlete. He played all the sports in college.
Yeah.
At Alabama State.
Alabama State, baby.
Yeah.
He from Lynette.
He from Lynette.
Lynette,
Yeah.
Alabama. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure a lot of people from Lynette with the
Yeah. Between Alabama State and Alabama A&M,
Yeah.
that Lynette was up there.
Okay, gotcha. So grandmother, your both maternal grandparents went to
Yeah.
college.
They went to college.
Okay, gotcha. So you finished high school and your plans were
To go to college.
okay. And where did you go?
I was going to go to Jacksonville State. I had made my decision I was going to go to Jacksonville State. My sister, who had graduated from Auburn at this point, came
Your
and
sister
picked
on
me
your
up.
daddy's side.
My sister on my daddy's
Okay,
side
gotcha.
came and picked me up and said, "You're going to Auburn."
Oh,
And she took me to Auburn to fill out all my
How'd
stuff.
that
And I
happen?
went to Auburn.
so okay, hold on. Did she go to Auburn?
She graduated from Auburn at
Oh.
that point in time. She about 9 years older than me.
She was like, I want my little brother to go to Auburn, and that's
She
what happened.
did.
Yeah.
She did.
Are y'all close right now?
We close enough.
Okay, close enough. Okay, gotcha. I got you.
You know, it depends on what day she having.
Okay. Oh, sister, don't do nothing.
But I mean, that's the kind of experience you have with a sibling when it's like a divorce or a parent going to jail, break y'all up, and y'all on different sides of the town.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
And,
that sucks.
You know, we didn't get to build that foundation. You
Yeah,
know,
that
so
sucks.
we there for each other. We love each other. We care for each other.
Yeah.
But like you can feel that there's something missing compared to my other brother. You
Yeah,
know? Not
yeah.
that there's an diminishing of that relationship, but
It's just something that is not there. I get
well,
it.
it's something that makes the sibling relationship stronger when you done seen them get a whooping before. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen my brother get whoopings. I ain't never seen my sister get no whooping. You know what I'm saying? It's something that adds on to that
But you're
experience.
crazy. You may need to talk to her. And you may need to say, look, I love you, sis. But I mean, I want our relationship to be a little bit more, stronger. Would you let my mama whoop you?
No, I'm just saying, it's crazy the bond that you get when you both get a whooping and gotta be in the
Together.
same room crying.
Oh my God.
You got to figure out how to resolve that together. You know, because we had bunk
It's like in
beds.
battle. It's like
Yeah.
you're going to battle with somebody.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we had bunk beds, and so it's like I'll be playing the game because I picked up the controller first after I whooping, and then he'll be like, "Can I play next?" And then it's like that's the bonding moment. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can play next. We both got whooped, so you know what I'm saying.
Boy, you stupid.
That
That
got
is
to be
funny.
that got to build something.
That got to make something happen,
Dude,
right?
dude.
Yeah, it got to have something. So you go to Auburn, man.
Go to Auburn. Auburn is not a great experience.
Not being down there is not a great experience.
Auburn is not a great experience.
I'm fond of the campus. I've been down there a couple of times. I went to the spring game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know someone that plays football there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I
So
graduated.
talk about that.
So I graduated from high school in 2002.
Okay. Hold on. Man.
I'm 40.
You young whippersnapper. Yeah.
And in 2001, many people will be familiar with this, but two frat boys came to a party on campus. One was dressed in blackface, and one was dressed in blackface with a noose on, and one was dressed like a Klansman.
I don't know that.
And the response that the university gave did not appease the black population on campus, and they lost a ton of black support.
Yeah.
I did not have the grade or the ACT scores, the GPA or the ACT scores to get into Auburn, but they needed black students.
Right.
So they just let a bunch of black people in.
Word.
And so I did not know that I was going to have a racist experience there, but like I was the only black. It wasn't like no overt racist experiences,
Yeah.
but it was like I had white roommates. I was the only black person in my building. And when I was on the bus in the morning, I was the only black person on the bus. People would not sit beside me.
In 2002?
In 2002.
Gee.
People would not sit beside me on the bus. I mean, people would stand up on the bus. I'm the only black person that's riding our bus every morning. They would stand up before they would sit down next to me. Now, every now and then a person would sit down next to me, but now, at this point, so many people don't sit next to me. It's like, are they trying to sit next to me so that they don't feel racist, but they are racist, so they want to stand up,
Right.
they don't want to have to accept this about themselves if they don't sit by me? So I'm going to sit by you reluctantly anyway, and then they get to leave that bus saying, you know what, I'm not racist because I sat by that black guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't know, but that's all in my head now in this experience, you know. And I eventually flunked out of Auburn because I just worked too much. And the classes were too big. It was 100-something people in the classes. You couldn't go talk to the professors. I wouldn't go talk to the professor. It was 20 people in the line.
I don't know. I couldn't have made it at Auburn.
It was tough.
Yeah, I couldn't have made it.
And so I flunked out and ended up going back home.
Okay.
To Lynette. And I worked at this plant called Milliken. And they was testing a laser machine and printing out these new airbags, the rollout airbags that started coming in SUVs around 2003.
Okay.
2004.
Okay. Because I had a 2004 SUV. Yeah, go ahead though.
Around those years, they started putting them airbags, and I was in a place that cutting them. My first paycheck for a week worth of work was $1,600 for a week worth of work back then. That's some ghetto cheese.
That
was it was crazy money. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had to work 80 hours for it.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
I had to work 80 hours for it. Yeah.
But that's a lot of work. But you young at that time too, though, and you feel like you. Well, anyway, go ahead.
What happened is the people that I was working with it felt like they were so comfortable with mediocrity. They were comfortable with living a life in Lynette, Alabama.
So why would you say that? Why would you say that? The people that you were working with, they was comfortable with mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that?
I saw because again, we talking about me observing human behavior.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm observing these people, and I'm like, the stories that they telling, the year that I worked there, they were just getting off of work and going and doing the same thing every single day for a year.
Let me ask you this: were you comfortable with that situation?
I wasn't.
You couldn't be because you noticed that they were mediocre. I mean, no disrespect.
I don't want to call them mediocre. They were phenomenal people that were okay with the normalcy of just going home every day and getting a tall boy and watching their favorite TV shows. And I don't know what breaks them out of that mentality, because I think if I follow up with those people 30 years later, they working in the next warehouse.
Probably so.
Still getting a tall boy every day. And I don't know that to be the case, but that's what it felt like when I was there. It felt like everybody was okay. Like, this is what we do.
Well, so what got you? Okay, so you working in this warehouse. I'm just trying to wrap my head around all this, Eddie. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And I mean, after you leave college, which you knew at that point in time that you knew that you wanted to be in college, but you flunked out because you were working too many hours and you just couldn't take this class size.
Yeah.
And you take this job at this warehouse and you realize, like, God, I mean, I'm here, I'm making decent money, but it's a little bit mediocre.
Yeah.
When do you realize that you want to do more?
Well, let me go back a little bit.
Take me back.
My first job was McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's through high school.
Okay.
And McDonald's through college. My first college.
Okay.
I had a family that I think was a good family, but we were really hyper independent. And what I mean by that is, when mama cooked food, we all went to the kitchen, fixed our food, and went to our bedrooms.
Oh, okay.
And we were fine with that.
Yeah.
You know, we would collaborate every now and then. We'd watch a movie or we'll do something together. But like, for the most part,
it was a very independent.
We was all in our own little bubbles, our own little worlds, right? And so that
called lock and key kind of thing, right?
Yes. That don't leave a lot of room for good job, Eddie, or seeing what my accomplishments are, right?
Yeah.
Because we in our bubbles. McDonald's was where I learned that I had some value. Because I learned I'm real good at the grill.
Yeah.
I'm real good at burgers. And something builds your confidence when you walk in the door and people say, finally, Eddie here. Eddie, get on the line.
Yeah.
Finally, Eddie here. Eddie,
yeah. Our savior is here.
Yeah. Or, hey, Eddie can do any other job. Just put him wherever y'all need him for the day.
Word.
You know?
Yeah.
That starts building up something. It start being like, I want to go to this place because people value me here. And then it made me a crew leader over the other people.
This is after high school.
This is during high school now.
Okay, during high school.
At 17, I became a crew leader over people that was in their 20s.
Yeah.
Because the supervisor was like, Eddie doing it, you know?
Yeah.
And not only there, but in my next McDonald's where the main boss gave me word of mouth was like, hey, he's good. You know, he can get a job. He's, you know, managers don't like when you transfer to another place, you know, but they'll give you, if you good, they'll give you a word. I went there, same situation, became the crew leader again. And so I started to realize that there's something about me, right?
Yeah.
And so when I was working at Milliken between colleges, the laser machine was a very fancy machine.
What was the laser machine, Eddie?
It was so there were these big rolls of I guess plastic or silicone or something that was sealed, and the laser cut them in half, and we inspected them to make sure that when they blew up like an airbag, they wouldn't deflate or they would actually blow up. There was no air in it, right?
Okay,
the laser cut those, and it just cut each bag by bag, and sometimes it would cut off, and they would have to call the maintenance man there.
Yeah.
After about 4 months of working there, me observing the maintenance man and what he was doing.
Oh no, you learned how to do it.
The maintenance man was like, Eddie can fix that machine. I'll go fix the other one, get Eddie to fix that one. He knows what to do. It just became that. And it's like, this is happening everywhere. This is happening every time I go somewhere. Somebody is recognizing
your skills.
Eddie got something going on. And I started realizing that something is going on. And so while everybody else was there, and again, I'm 21 at the time, and I'm working with 30 and 40-year-olds. They've been in the warehouse circuit for just a new job for them.
Right.
The last one.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to figure out how to learn more about this laser, and they just talking about the same stuff that's been going on for the last year. So that's how I started seeing the difference between where they was looking and where I was looking.
Yeah.
I was looking to grow somehow.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to grow in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And so I on a whim, I called my friend who had just come back from Texas. He went to school in Texas.
Right.
I said, I'm going to go to AUM and put in a college application. This was in Montgomery.
What is AUM?
Auburn University, Montgomery.
Okay, Auburn University, Montgomery.
It was the only school that would take all my credits because it was a subsidiary of Auburn University.
Yes.
And so I told him I was going up there. He rode with me, and we both filled out an application and became roommates. And that was my new college journey.
Oh, okay.
And
it was part, but is that officially part of Auburn, or it is it's an annex situation?
It was, but not anymore.
Not anymore. So it's its own entity.
It's its own now, but it kept the name. So I guess whatever negotiation they figured out, they wanted to keep the name, probably just for notoriety and people coming there.
Yeah, because
it benefit them to have the
no
name,
doubt,
you know?
No doubt.
So they want to let that go.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, at all.
Yeah.
And so
it helps everybody too.
I know, right? And people still don't know, is it Auburn or is it not?
It don't matter.
My understanding, they parted ways.
So talk about that experience. I mean, you were there how long?
I was at Auburn, Montgomery from 2004 to 2007 when I graduated.
Okay, so you graduated with a what degree?
With a bachelor's of art in psychology.
Gotcha.
Bachelor of art in psychology.
Okay.
And that was the journey. I went into that college with very low, like high doubt of my ability to perform in college because I done flunked out of college before.
Yeah.
And
so even just having, I'm sure you graduated, so you were having some successes.
Well, this is before I graduated. I flunked out of Auburn, worked at home, went to AUM, and now I'm starting AUM, but my confidence about school.
Okay, at that point in time,
I'm school material or not.
Yeah.
I learned quickly that I'm supposed to be here.
Okay, good. So that's okay.
Yeah.
So when you learned that, it's safe to say that your grades was improving. It was a much smaller class size. It was
more racially diverse.
Yeah. And you thrived there.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I thrived at AUM. I mean, I'm going down there hooping every day. And the same thing happening. I'm a big dude. I always been 270 plus.
Yeah, okay.
I'm 300 now.
Yeah, I got you.
But I always
been. You don't look it now. You wearing it well now.
That's what people can't tell. But and on the basketball court, I used to be knees now. But I was faster than it looked like I was. And people will always be pointing that out. Or you don't expect the big dude to be on the 3-point line, but he out there and don't leave him open.
Oh, you going there? Yeah, you training there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And so these things are building up my confidence and giving me the freedom. And I told you I wasn't talking until I was about 26. So I spent my first 2 years at AUM still quiet.
Okay.
Still observing the world around me.
Yeah.
And I took my first psychology class.
Oh boy, I know. Talk about that.
When
for
I
a
took
moment.
my first psychology, listen, my school counselor just slept in her office. I didn't know nothing about psychology and counseling, and I didn't even know that there was a study of the brain like that
Okay,
from
okay,
my environment, right?
okay.
So I take this psychology class, and it's like, these the answers that I want, because I went into college a pre-engineering major.
Yeah.
Because I used to just take electronics apart and put them together. Like I build my own PCs. I'll fix a laptop in a heartbeat.
Oh, so you had that kind of.
Yeah.
You know what? That makes sense though, because go ahead though.
It's just a different set of questions.
Yeah.
But those questions, ones and zeros questions, is too easy. And so when I found psychology, I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, because the questions that you ask of the human mind are an evolving, revolving door of things based on whatever happened in your life in this moment in time. And those questions never end, and I never cease trying to figure that out. And I think what I learned when I discovered that was that all of this observation I was doing, and the reason that I just loved going to school and then wanted, because I wanted to be learning people. And it turned into that journey of how I became a therapist, how I wanted to like not only learn people, because it's a lot of ways you can learn people passively.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn people actively and help them through that journey that they having. And a lot of that was informed by my journey. So I began putting the dots together of what am I left with from all of these things that I've went through. Now that I learned psychology, now that I know that everything is a cause and effect, everything that I've been through has an outcome, everything that all of us has gone through has an outcome. Now that I know that, now what? What's next? And it became psychology, and it became a path to counseling. So when I graduated from AUM, I kind of took a year off, and then I moved up here to Birmingham in 2010.
Okay.
To go to UAB.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So now we're at UAB, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're in Birmingham. But you matriculated to UAB at this time.
Yeah. I moved up here to go to UAB.
Okay, so
yeah,
let's talk about that experience real quick. Yeah.
UAB was a good experience, right? Because
UAB is way more diverse than any Auburn University.
Very diverse.
No disrespect to Auburn, but UAB is a very diverse school.
Extremely.
I like UAB. You see all kinds of people walking. Yeah.
Now, the counseling program was not diverse as far as I was the only black man in the program. I had a black male professor, which was rare.
Would you say, okay, but would you say that just the field itself? Because even me, I mean, like just graduating from Miles College in the social work program, which is a HBCU, but when I went out to got my master's, I mean, at Western University, I was, it wasn't that many black folks, and it's not that many black folks in our field in the begin with.
It definitely was mostly women, but
mostly women. Yeah, exactly. That's what I should have said in the first place.
It's mostly woman populated field. It's one of those fields where the ideology is that it's a nurturing type field.
That's
sensitivity, vulnerable type field.
And most men don't. Yeah,
men don't see that as men work. You know, so it's like I ain't been able to be a counselor. Think about the school counselors. They were women. Like dudes don't. Society builds up these stigmas and these ideas of what it's supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
But again, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just following the questions and the answers.
Oh,
I was just finding my inquiries.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because what led you into, okay, you graduated with a psychology degree, but you're still searching for questions and answers. So is that the reason why you I ain't gonna answer it. I can't.
So,
but how does it happen? I'm asking you that.
How do I transition to the counseling?
How did you UAB to the counseling?
So from AUM to UAB, AUM, psychology. And if y'all don't know, psychology is an easy degree to acquire. It's a bunch of theories.
Yeah, it is.
It's Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung,
Marx.
Marx is not easy depending on the university and the program, but for all intents and purposes, if you understand theoretical concepts of how we exist, you got it. You know what I'm saying?
You got, because I won't say it's easy, but I would say if you into that and you want to understand these theories,
well, let me say it's considered as one of the easier degrees to get out of the degrees of universities.
Okay.
That and some other arts degrees, liberal arts degrees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But psychology don't even require as much reading as some other programs, type situation.
Yeah.
You know, so not to belittle it, it's my degree, it's my field. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't make it sound like it's that
Yeah.
easy, but
I mean, because not even because let's talk about you licensed too, so that's a whole nother
oh yeah,
can
that's
of
a-
worms.
another different situation.
Yeah, go ahead though.
And so from AUM to UAB, psychology, I got my degree. But while I was at AUM, I was lateral to the basketball team. I
What's
just
that
hung
mean?
out with basketball cats.
Because you like basketball.
I was in the gym, but you know, we'll go back to high school. In
Yeah.
high school, I played basketball, and I wasn't good enough to be chosen in the top 10. Like the
Right.
guys on this guy were playing, but I was good enough to be chosen the first on the other side, where the kids that kind of play.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, Eddie over here today. Let's play with Eddie." But
Yeah.
also, if the other guys needed one, they'll be like, "Eddie,
And
I
then-
need one."
yeah.
I'm running straight over there to them. And I feel bad about it today, man. I just left my friends. I ain't even say, it didn't even matter what the score was. I ain't even say, hey, get an extra. I just went straight. Because, you know,
I'm finna hit it.
I mean, it's that seeking the popularity, that acceptance type thing. And it's like, when the popular kids be like, Eddie, you know, they know. But the kids I was with, they knew. They knew if they called me, I was gone. They knew it was real. You know?
Come on, man.
So,
You are. But that's funny. I understand that. I understand what you're saying.
you know, so that said, I would be playing basketball in the gym, but
Right.
never enough to play with the dudes on the team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every now and then, one
Gotcha.
dude on the team might play with us because he the only one in there. But for the most part, I was just lateral to the basketball team. I'd just be like, hey, what up, fellas? Okay, cool, I'm out. You know, but I never played with them. You know, but eventually it turned into having conversations. And at this
Right.
point, like, I'm breaking out of that thing where I'm not talking.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm still listening and I still got an observation. So people
Yeah.
started talking to me and they started telling people, hey, man, if you got an issue, you go talk to Eddie.
Anyway.
Go to G200. That was go to G200.
Yeah.
He cool. Just knock on the door. Random people just knocking on my door to talk because other people done said, go talk to Eddie.
Oh man. How did it make you feel, Eddie?
It at the time, it gave me what I had been seeking that whole time before. It gave me that not only am I saying stuff that I perceive to be right now, but people are requesting it.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something to that request.
Yeah.
And it's like people and nobody is really saying Eddie is giving bad input. Ain't nobody involving Eddie in no mess.
Yeah.
I done had people try to help me like bring some like conflict resolution to
Right,
some situations.
Right.
And I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
God's gift.
Yeah, this found me. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't find it.
Well, that's how that normally works too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I would be fighting against the grain if I tried to do something other than figure out how to talk to people.
Mm.
And when I decided that, I also went to go get a job at Red Lobster because I wanted my livelihood to be dependent upon me having to talk to people. So I became a server. Because at this point, I'm listening to people more than I'm talking to people.
Okay, so okay, so but did you seek this serving job just to be able to talk to people?
Yes.
And get outside yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
I said I was delivering pizza. And with delivering pizza, you don't got to talk to nobody.
You just
You
drop it
walk
off?
in, get the pizza. Hey, 10-20, thanks, bye.
Yeah.
But
Who you
also,
working for at the time?
Papa John's.
Papa John. Boy, some good pieces too.
Papa John's was good.
Yeah, I like Papa
Papa
John.
John's was good.
Go ahead, though.
But I said, if I'm going to be a counselor, I got to figure out how to talk to people. And I'm going to go try to be a server. The first place I went to was Red Lobster. I didn't even eat seafood like that. But I went to Red Lobster and I found the same thing that I had found.
You got the but you got the job. Because you got restaurant experience. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But I found the same thing that I found at McDonald's and at Milliken at the warehouse I worked at. I found that like people saw my value early, even if I wasn't seeing it.
Yeah.
You know, and it just, all of these moments just kept building onto my confidence and building me up, you know.
To be who you, okay,
To be who I eventually became,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, who I am and who I'm still continuing to grow to be.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that was the moment where it was like, I started talking and it's like, hey, everybody, this is the fresh fish menu. We got salmon, we got, hey, and then it turned into, hey, what's up going on? How y'all doing today?
Yeah.
We got some fresh fish on that menu, you know what I'm saying? So you
You get
look like
more-
you like salmon, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna peg you for the salmon person. You probably want some of that rainbow. It turned into this very mechanical thing to this like organic, reading the energy,
Yeah.
learning how to engage with people.
Yeah.
And that place helped me do it. And then I became the bartender. The bartender is just
Oh.
the alcohol therapist, And so they come in there, they get a drink, and they be like, bro, I had a long day. Tell me about it. I did a counseling program.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah, but
you exercising your skill set right now.
They like,
Yeah.
that's the best bartender. I don't know how he get the best input, but he the best bartender. He get good drinks and good advice. They just don't know I'm finna be a therapist in some years. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny, Eddie. Yeah, but that's true. So you just using these little avenues
Yeah.
to exercise your skill set
Just built it
and,
up.
and become better.
Just
And
built it
become
up.
better. So you graduate from
Graduate from UAB
UAB
in 2014.
2014.
And I start all this time, let me tell y'all about my jobs while I'm at UAB.
Yeah.
While I'm at UAB in my last year, I'm working at Red Lobster, I'm working at Chewy's, I'm working at JBS Mental Authority, and I'm in the counseling program doing counseling hours in the clinic.
Yeah, so you getting your clinical hours.
I'm getting my clinical hours. I'm working around the clock. So I'm already doing mental health work with JBS.
Yeah.
I'm doing case management work. So
Yeah.
I was going to all of the local schools
Yeah.
and calling kids out
Were
of
you,
class.
were you getting your clinical hours there at JBS?
I was not.
Okay.
I
So you had
was-
somebody supervising.
Yeah, I was going to at first, but the people at the clinic, another one of those moments, said, Eddie, out of everybody, we know you submitted to get your hours from your job, but we want you to work in the clinic.
So they wanted to pay you and they couldn't do the same. They couldn't pay.
My job would have paid me to do it.
Okay.
The clinic don't pay me to do it.
Okay, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I was wanting to get paid and get my hours at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's how I got mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got mine.
But
Yeah.
JBS said, listen, if you got to be in the clinic from 12 to 5, you can work from 8 to 12 and then come back and work from 5 to 8. And that'll be fine.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to leave.
Yeah.
And so we came up with that. So I did not get paid. I just had to work more hours, but I still got what I wanted out of that package.
Okay.
I still got what I wanted out of that package.
Okay,
There's
excellent.
just more hours that I had to put into it, but it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't too much.
Okay, one too much.
Yeah. And so after I graduated, having had already worked in the community, that's when I started Restoring Hopes the next year after that. Me and two people, Derek and Latoria Greenhill, not the same last name, Derek McQuittery, Latoria Greenhill, and myself, we started Restoring Hopes Counseling.
Okay.
And
Are they part of it to the day?
not Derek anymore.
Okay.
Latoria Greenhill and myself are co-founders of Restoring Hopes.
Co-founder. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we started doing in-community services with Medicaid. We
Yes.
essentially started going directly into the schools, doing the services that we were kind of doing with JBS, but as therapists now instead
Yeah.
of case managers.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That was some good insight to have. Like, okay, hey, we can do our, no knock on anybody, but the blueprint, when you got a blueprint is already working and you want to exercise the same thing, you guys just do the same thing, but up on a umbrella where you can reap all the benefits.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do the work and we
Yeah.
get the benefits and we can control how the work looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the work don't look the same to everybody.
Yeah.
What you're trying to accomplish with, like, the white people that was my supervisors at Restoring Hopes don't understand how, not Restoring Hopes, but at JBS doesn't
Yeah.
understand how a Black boy needs therapy.
Yeah, it's so different, man.
Very
It is. It is not a bad thing. It's just what
just-
it is.
Yeah, it's just a different thing.
It's just a different man. Preach. I should have me. I'm gonna create a
Yeah.
on my soundboard. It's gonna be like preach because that's what you're doing.
And
because,
again, I say white and black, but that can apply to many things, right?
yeah,
And I made the example of like you got your brushes up here because you got them dogs up there in waves. You know what I'm saying? I'm bald headed, right? We got two different bathroom regimens. You know what I'm saying? And
this
it's
man
like,
crazy. Yo.
I'm in a better situation talking with bald dudes than because dude with hair ain't finna ask me about no hair regimen, okay? They might ask me about a beard regimen, but my beard regimen is different than my hair
But you
regimen.
rocking that
You know
beard
what I'm
though,
saying?
Eddie.
it's compensation for no hair. Like I'm overcompensating a little bit.
That's good. That's good. So now, hey, boy, you crazy. Now, you done with school. Now you got Hope Counseling.
Restoring Hopes Counseling.
Okay, so it's Restoring Hopes.
Restoring Hopes, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I'm glad you fixed that. Restoring Hopes Counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been around now since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you guys are knee deep in it now.
We in it.
Yeah, I mean, like
10 years.
Exactly. I was about to say 10 years. And man, God, doesn't time fly? 10 years.
Very much so.
Would you think that you will be in this position 10 years from now?
You know, that was the hope. The hope was that I would not have to work for a JBS again, because nothing against JBS, right? Itself. But when you're working for a mental health agency, in the way that you're working for a mental health agency, they have so many protocols, and they have so many layers, and they have so many steps. There's so much stuff you can't do, so much control you can't have, so many conversations you can't, you know,
because they govern so much by so many things.
It's so many things. So it's not just JBS, but it's a lot of organizations. They expect a lot out of you, and they don't give as much as they could give. You know, that's just the nature of the mental health field in its form right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so private practice is generally going to be the way to go if you have the stomach for business. If you can keep up with the things you need to keep up with business, then that's like the direction that you generally don't want to go in.
Man, but it's not. It's not easy to do that. You got to be a visionary to make that a possibility. Yeah. Some people don't have the vision to work alone or to start a business. So, but man, big ups to you that you saw, and nothing against people who don't, but big ups to you that you saw an avenue that you can find your niche in.
Yeah, it was just my path. You know, again, the way that I've been seeking questions, I'll go back to me being inquisitive. The way I was seeking questions, I wasn't going to be able to get my questions answered working for a JBS.
Yeah.
And so people who don't have that, it's fine. I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, I have therapists that work for me. How I feel about talking about these systems, you know, and working for other people, but I think it's like once you see what I'm trying to achieve in the community, working with me, and I don't even like to say work for me, they collaborate with me.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because it's just a great way of putting it. So let me ask you this. I mean, what population do y'all serve though?
Predominantly, up till about the end of the pandemic, it was the Medicaid population. Now we work with families in the community, mostly Black, but not necessarily. So right now we're just word of mouth from the work that we've done. We've done a lot of foster care work. We've done a lot of work with adoptees. We've done a lot of work with kids.
Y'all get a lot of referrals from the DHR, HRS?
No.
Okay.
DHR's referrals come with needing to bill Medicaid or bill through their services, and it's just real complicated to deal with those systems. So mostly we do insurance right now.
Okay, gotcha.
All Kids, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Viva, Cigna, United. We work with pretty much all the insurances, except Medicaid right now.
Medicaid, okay.
Yeah, Alabama be making Medicaid real complicated to deal with.
No,
it's always like that.
Yeah.
You know, so most of my referrals that come in lately are Black men and Black boys.
Okay.
And mamas of Black boys.
I was looking for, hold on one second, Eddie. Mm-hmm. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was looking for something. Hold on one second. Hold on.
All right. You all right?
Yeah, I ain't never have it. I'm good.
Make sure you ain't hurt yourself.
No, I ain't.
All right.
Yeah. I'm trying to get you tripping out here.
My bad, man. I'm over here sweating for you to go grab a piece of paper, huh?
Turn the AC up, okay?
Yeah, you good.
And it got a little warm in here. They got a little time on the AC.
Okay.
I got that camera on you, so it ain't on me.
Okay, that's good.
Oh boy. Oh God, I'm finna bring myself back on camera. And trip me down. You feel the AC?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry about that. It's the AC on a timer, man, so it goes off and goes on, man. But
Gotcha.
I had to go out, man, because I was sweating. Yeah. So in a nutshell, man, so I want to ask you this, and it's just a question. So your population is mostly black. Are there any situations where someone come in and they see you and they say, I don't know, or they already know who you are?
Most of the time they know who I am. Somebody done sent them to me.
Okay.
But I having worked with a lot of parents and a lot of kids and families.
Right.
A lot of parents don't know my counseling style when they come talk to me or when they been referred to somebody to see their kid.
What is your counseling style?
When it comes to parenting, I'm very hard on parents, at least off rip.
What? And when you say hard, you just what that
I
entail?
put them in the hot seat.
Okay.
Because what parents would do is bring me a kid at 14 or 15 and say fix them and act like we're not finna talk about these 15 years they've been under your tutelage.
We gotta talk about that.
We got to talk about that.
Yeah, because that's partly the problem. That's go ahead.
And I sit there and I say, how you do consequences? What do you think about parenting? Like, what do you think about respect? What do you think about all the little sayings that we have in black families, like, stay in a child's place.
Yeah.
Kids will be seen, not to be heard type of conversation.
Absolutely.
Like those things, I need to challenge those because some of that stuff take a child's voice away when sometimes they just want a voice or need a voice. You might have scared your child out of being comfortable with telling you that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And that child need to be able to say that, And so I put a parent in the hot seat essentially. And so I have some parents that done came there, sat through my little charade, and then they don't come back.
Oh, he said, you call it
they don't come back. It ain't intended to keep them out, but I need to know that you're not a majority of the problem, because if you are, then that child gonna leave my office and walk right back into the problem that created why you brought them there in the first place.
And if you're a parent, man, you know what? I need not to go there because a lot of times we're talking about accountability. That's what we're talking about, really.
Yeah.
You got to be accountable. It's easy said and done. So that's why I don't think I need to go there because that's what we're talking about, though, accountability as a parent, and being able to accept what we did and not do to make or create what we created with our kids.
Well, and another thing that I be telling parents is, like, if you have ever say, I did the best I could, embedded in that statement is the acknowledgement that there is more that you could have done. And so just talk about what you could have done more.
Yeah.
Don't just hide behind this idea that I did the best I could.
Yeah.
Actually, like, it's very therapeutic for your child, no matter how old they are, whether they 20 or 40, to hear, you know what, this is where I think I could have done better for you. That is therapeutic in itself. That will free that child from so many little pieces that they got bedded up and tied up and into knots in their world, from that experience that they had.
That is big because it's so good to acknowledge, as a parent, to acknowledge just simple things in conversations with your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
Definitely.
That's big. So what are some challenges you face as a African American counselor?
One of the biggest challenges that I face is still being under the scrutiny of the system of white supremacy while trying to do this work. Like, walking out of the counseling office, helping somebody deal with white supremacy and then dealing with white supremacy myself. Like,
a lot of counter transferring going on.
Yeah. Like, therapy is something that I do. It's not who I am, and it don't mean that I'm protected from the harms that come into the world. And like, we still dealing with trying to figure out if the government right now is going to cut out Medicaid for the therapists I know that work with Medicaid and the families that I have sent to to therapists that have Medicaid. You know,
Yeah.
we got a lot of people that's about to lose their insurance from a lot of the changes that's going on right now, and so, or I get a client that had insurance but now it's gone, and it's like, do I keep doing services with them or tell them it's a wrap? I don't want to let my clients go if they still got something, and so I do a lot of pro bono sessions because, you know, I'm trying to make sure that we end our therapy at a certain time.
That's good that's good that you're doing pro bono work too.
Yeah. Another thing is just like the harsh reality is, as a Black male in therapy, there's just not enough of me. There's not enough of us. There's not enough Black male voices in therapy to represent working with Black boys and Black men. It's just not enough of us. You know?
What can we do to change that?
It's a lot of things that we need to start doing. Right now, the systems that keep men from being able to be emotionally expressive and vulnerable and share and have strengths and the things that make us look at counseling as women work and nurturing work instead of, you know, actually something that can help mentor and nurture our community into a better place. We got to start challenging those notions early. Like right now, for the families that can do it, need to be starting nurturing their kids to being politicians so that we can start taking some of these seats and nurturing them to be community helpers in some capacity. We got to figure out how to get Black boys into counseling, into the medical field, into dentistry, the same way we need to get them into politics and boards and local seats. Not just Black men, but women too. But, you know, as a community, we need to start nurturing the young people to do more than just get a job when they get out, you know. And I think that's going to be the variable. We got to push back on a lot of these systems.
You know, man, when we talk about, and no knock against, well, I'm not going to say no knock, but I'm not trying to talk bad about our younger people. Mm-hmm. And I won't talk bad about our younger people, but how do we get, and it's just a rhetorical question, mm-hmm. How do we get those younger people to identify with what we're talking about or what you're speaking of, to want to do better, man? Because the way I see our younger generation, I'm talking about me, I'm not talking about you. The way I see some of these younger folks, man, we're so interested in so many of the wrong things, man. Mm-hmm. I would love to see them be more concerned with being politician, being mental health professionals, being school teachers, being community leaders. You know, all these things. I would love to see that, but we talking about parents who seems to be not interested in those things, man. I'm sorry. When I look around myself and I look at things, and when I have direct contact with certain people, they like clueless, man. So it's a lot of groundwork that we have to do as older people, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not even older people, maybe what's the word I'm looking for? The adults, older adults in the community, man. Mm-hmm. We got to do a lot of work, man, because elders. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. We got to do a lot of work, man, because we seem to be a culture of arrested development.
Yeah. So I do a podcast at the detention center, and it's not so much a podcast, but the goal is for each kid in the juvenile detention center is to bring them into the room and to help them start narrating their life from episode 1 and keep going. And I work with a bunch of kids doing that.
You doing that now?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So, and it's the juvenile here in Birmingham?
Yeah.
You know Michael?
Michael.
What's Mike's last name? Michael Smiley. He's a barber.
No.
He come in and speak to the juveniles.
Yeah. Normally our schedules don't overlap because we all need the same space to do the work.
Yeah, so yeah, so I got you.
I'll be there, but I don't never see nobody else.
Yeah, because yeah. But that's a good thing. Man, how could I come there with you one time?
I can just bring you with me so you can see how it look.
Oh man, I would love to see what it looked like. And as I mentioned, that's some of my background too, is working with that population of people. providing individual counseling to that population of people.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we can just orchestrate that. I go
Now,
Mondays
look-
from 3 to 7.
Man,
So
Mondays at 3 to 7.
from 3 to 7.
So of course not this Monday, but if you can
a
just
Monday, I'm there most Mondays unless I'm out of town.
man, that's
Unless something
awesome,
going
man.
on, but
I would love because I was gonna ask Mike Smiley to bring me along, let me tag along, and I would love to do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, you on the docket. I'll
Hey,
make sure I get
I'm
you
on
there.
the clock, baby. I'm on the clock.
But what I've learned is that, and I done talked to 12-year-olds that done shot up gas stations and like they telling their stories raw. And it's like that comes when we do a little bit of group work beforehand so that they begin to trust the process. And then when we get in there by ourselves, like they telling their story.
Man,
A kid that living in Gate City or Kingston is likely to have a gun in their hand by 10 years old.
Jesus.
Just from the kids that I work with in the detention center from Gate City and Kingston, right? And they always talk about an OG put a gun in their hand at 9 or 10 years old, one of the elders in their family, because the environment orders that for them, you know? And I can't tell them kids when you get out, you should go in and leave them guns alone if they going back into an environment where everybody else got a gun.
Yeah, that is
know?
crazy, man.
But what I do tell the kids, I say, this is what you do need to know though. Gun problems have gun solutions. So if you got a gun, you're going to be thinking of gun solutions. If you don't have a gun, you're going to be thinking of saving your life solutions, escaping from the moment solutions, right? And that's what you need to be figuring out. So,
and you talk, and these kids are incarcerated.
Yeah.
God. But you know what's crazy though?
What's that?
They're going back into the same environment.
Exactly. And so when I'm saying that, is like there is work for the elders to do. There's work for the kids to do. But what do we need to do about this very isolated environment that a kid is likely gonna hear gunshots very often and have a gun in their hand by 10 years old?
Yeah.
It's the environment because we were talking about another community that they gentrified. Southtown kind of is on the way to being gentrified, it seems, which is right there above UAB.
Yeah.
But it was another town that the kids was talking about. He said, well, I grew up here, but it ain't like that no more because they tore down all the buildings they was, rebuilt them, and they made different criteria for people to live there, and now it ain't no violence going on over there. And it's like, well, is that the solution? But I don't know. But what I'm saying is a solution you can't have a solution without the elders, without the youth, without the church, without the politicians, without the politics in the city, and without addressing the issues that's going on in the environment. And so I struggle with conversations where they just put it on the kids.
Oh, absolutely.
I struggle with conversations where they just put it on the adults because it's a whole system.
It's a system. That's
whole system.
That's what we fight. We fight a structural system.
Yeah, and the system is white supremacy.
Yeah,
let's be clear. It's white supremacy.
It is.
When you take a group of people and you bundle them all in a place,
and you put them in one spot,
and then you move all of the functional ways that you could make money out of the white flight. You take all the businesses and go somewhere else. To where the only thing that is left is dilapidated buildings.
Yeah, it's almost like put them on the island, let them fend for themselves. That's what it is.
KFC about to break down. That's the only place they got to work. KFC, a Dollar General.
And an old McDonald's.
Yeah, old McDonald's. Yeah. And now the only other thing that they trying to figure out is how to make a play.
Yeah.
How to go rob somebody.
Yeah, because they feel like, hey, man, this life here, it's got to be a play or this is what we stuck with.
Yeah. Another component to that is even if a kid had all of the tools to leave, we'll say Inslee, and go over to Hoover to get a job, if he looked too much like Inslee, Hoover ain't gonna hire him.
No.
So white supremacy don't only take the opportunities away, but they reject you from being able to participate in them when you actually go and say, hey, I have all the means to get here and to do this job. They don't even make the assessment. If you're too much of that thing that they ran away from, that white flight sent them away from, they're not going to let you come in and intervene over there on their side of town. They're not going to let that happen.
Whoo, boy. We got a lot to unpack, man. And it starts with us we got to wake up too. And I know the term woke is out there, but we got to wake up, man. And we got to be educated. We got to educate ourselves on things that we need to do. We got to be more conscious of our environment, and we have to. I think another thing too is not be so critical, but informative.
Yeah.
Of the individuals, man. So let's okay. So Restoring Hope Counseling.
Mhm.
Where are you located?
My office is 524 Lorna Road, Lorna Square, 524 Lorna Square, Hoover, Alabama. It's right down the street.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Yeah. When you said Lorna Road, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we right in the vicinity.
The Family Dollar on Lorna Road, it's in a business little center right back behind there, where that little pool table place is back there.
Word.
Yeah.
I know exactly where you are.
Yeah, my office back there.
Eddie, you down the street.
I'm down the street.
Yeah, you down the street from you got the billet store.
Mhm.
You got the police station.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where you are.
Yeah, I'm back there.
Yeah, okay. All right. What's your office hours?
Random.
Okay.
From 8 to 9.
Appointment.
7 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
You work 7 days a week?
I do.
Hey. You got to come get counseling.
Now, don't get me wrong. One of those days might be 1 hour out that day, but it's
Okay.
still a day. You
It's
know what
still
I'm
a
saying?
day that you devoted
Yeah.
to the cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can people find you on social media?
Look, y'all, right now, Eddie Sharp. You put Eddie Sharp in Google. I'm a junior, so between me and my daddy, you're gonna find me mostly.
You're gonna find
You're gonna find my
you might
daddy.
get his
You're gonna
pop-up.
find my daddy deposition if you go too far down in the history. About 10 pages down, you're gonna find Eddie Sharp Sr. talking to the people.
Talking to parole officer.
Yeah. But Eddie Lamar Sharp Jr., you Google me, you find me all over the place of our interviews I've done and articles that I've done and participated in. On TikTok, Eddie be talking.
Eddie be talking.
On Instagram, Mr_on_point. But on Facebook, Eddie Lamar Sharp Jr., you find me. Or put Restoring Hopes with an S into Google and you'll find Restoring Hopes Counseling. Same thing for Facebook. And we don't have an Instagram for Restoring Hopes.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Let me ask you a question before I let you go, man. We
Yes,
got
sir.
a couple more questions, but man, what are some taboos sitting around counseling? I wanted to bring that out, though.
Yeah.
You know that you know of for Black men.
Taboos for Black men is, again, we're not supposed to express our vulnerabilities or show weakness. And so talking about the things that create our pains and our harms and our worries and our griefs and our traumas, that's vulnerability. You know, that's showing somebody else our weakness.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times it's hard to do that. And sometimes it's hard for men to do that to a man because we the ones that be in competition with each other,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so that's one of those taboos. Another taboo for Black men is that, you know, that is a myth, is that we can't talk to our women about this stuff because they'll use it against us.
Yeah.
That is, I won't say that don't happen, right?
Yeah, it happens. But
It definitely happens.
yeah.
But we have to choose how we want to exist. And if you want to be vulnerable, nobody should take you off of that path because of how they respond to it.
Yeah.
And I try to help Black men with learning how to do that.
Okay.
Like, instead of saying she didn't handle what I said right, so I ain't gonna ever talk again.
Yeah.
What we need to be like is, look, babe, you got to get with the program, because
Yeah.
I'm gonna share these stories with you. I'm gonna talk about my life with you,
Yeah.
and I need you to get with it, right?
Yeah. You can support me in this here,
Yeah,
but I'm still gonna be talking about it.
yeah,
Or I'm gonna find, or we might not even be together. Because sometimes I hate to say that, but
yeah. Well, I mean,
that's a little.
we have to curate our own environment. It not just with women, but with homies too. Like,
Yeah.
I want friends that I can go to and say, "Hey, man, look, I'm struggling,"
Right.
and them to not joke on me about it.
Yeah.
That you'll get yourself excommunicated from my life like that really quickly.
Yeah, but you got to create that environment, right?
Exactly. You
Okay.
got to nurture that environment for yourself. So a compassionate response to your friends and your partner would be, "Hey, babe, the way that you responded to what I was saying, this is what I need from you in these moments."
Yeah.
Educate them, nurture
Educate.
them into you, right?
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
you've committed to like having these conversations, you got to teach your partner. You got to help them learn how to engage with you in that way.
And in relationships, people always say you need to teach your partner how do you want to be treated.
Yeah,
And this is another way teaching your partner how you want to be treated.
exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
okay.
You got to teach them. You can't expect somebody to come to you 100% with exactly the way that you want everything to be done with you. You got to help them understand.
Got to help them understand. Yeah. So Eddie, let's get into some fast questions, man. I'm gonna let you go. I mean, I done held you for an hour, man. That's all I wanted
Look,
you for.
that's fine, man. I'm good.
Yeah. That's all I really wanted you for was an hour, man. So When you're not working, so you spend a lot of time, man, giving a lot of yourself to people. So, but when you're not working, what is one of your favorite things to do?
One of my favorite things to do when I'm not working, cook and bake, cooking and baking. That's what I like to do.
What's your favorite dish to cook? One of your favorite dishes? One.
We're gonna go baking.
Bacon.
All right.
Okay.
And I recently just tried something that just changed my whole world.
Go ahead.
We'll give y'all the game.
Talk about it. Because I'm a cook too. So
Okay, so I did this experimental pool of banana puddings. So instead of using just vanilla wafers, I use vanilla wafers in one, Nutter Butter in one, I use Biscoff in one, and I use Chessman squares in one. The Biscoff cookies in the banana pudding.
I like the Biscoff.
Game changer. And I melted a little bit of cookie butter too, and I like the little swirl of cookie butter on top. That is the most recent game-changing recipe that I have made. I will not be using regular vanilla wafers again in vanilla.
All right,
pudding.
so let me know. So when are you gonna make it again? And
You on the list. When I make it, you on the list.
Okay. All right.
You person number 2 on the list. Cause I keep telling people about this because it's been a revolutionary banana pudding experience.
And to make this thing, fair, what do I need to bring to the table to secure my spot?
You ain't got to bring none. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have a fish fry at the end of next month.
I'm invited.
You are invited.
Thank you.
You are invited.
I invited myself.
You good. You good.
Yeah.
It's community now.
Okay, gotcha, man. Gotcha. All right. Hey, man, thank you, and I'm looking forward to it. Would you rather be rich or famous?
If I had to choose between
If you had to choose between rich.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, I ask that question a lot, and hands down, rich, man.
My brother is in Hollywood. He's an actor. My brother.
Your brother that on your mom's side?
Yes.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because that was on my list to ask. And shame on me. Shame on me. He in Hollywood?
My brother acting in Hollywood. He was on a episode or 2 of Insecure. For those of y'all who watch Issa Rae's show, he's been on a couple of seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I love that show, man. I mean, but I hadn't watched it in a while, man. So I watched that show. That show been around forever, Eddie.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so Curb Your Enthusiasm is still.
Yeah, Larry David brought it back for 2 new seasons. So it had went away for a while, but he brought it back for 2 new seasons.
He is so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to find it. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch it for me. Hopefully I can see your brother.
I'll send you the clip because my brother got a clip on YouTube from it that was a deleted scene from the show.
Yeah.
Because my brother said that he was still talking too country for them to understand what he was saying. And so
but you're stupid.
He said, because when you go out there, they don't expect no Alabama boy to be coming up there. So you got to kind of train yourself out of talking Alabama.
Yeah.
And so he said, I think they cut this scene because I said some stuff that Larry didn't understand, and we had to reshoot it.
That's funny.
But I'm gonna send you the link. But my brother,
but he is working.
He working. Yeah,
that's awesome.
He's in some movie. My brother. The thing that I was telling you that I found out that I was getting, my brother got that like amplified. Like,
yeah,
neither one of us from our upbringing just knew how to use it on purpose. But my brother, great storyteller, funny. He's starting to do stand up, so he gonna do his thing out there. But to answer the part about famous is, I just want to go out there and be my brother Charlie Murphy. That's it. He can have all the fame. I want to go to a restaurant and barely be recognized. That's what I want.
Oh my God! You want to be Charlie Murphy to your brother?
Yes. If he could get big and I could just go out there and just be.
You don't want to be Eddie Murphy's uncle. You ever seen his uncle?
Yeah, I seen him. And look, I don't even want to be Eddie Sharp. I want to be Dean Sharp brother. That's what I want to be.
Oh man. That's awesome, man. But that is a great story, man.
Yeah.
That your brother's out there living his truth. I mean, you both seem like y'all doing well, though.
We're doing our thing. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So that's great, man. So what is a hidden talent that you have?
A hidden talent? I do a lot of stuff, man. I am a gamer. I am a content creator. I am a candle maker.
Yeah.
Oh, I am a hat maker.
That's right. You are a candle maker.
I make candles. I make hats. With the baking and the cooking, I do a little bit of videography, a little bit of photography.
Yeah.
My apartment for all intents and purposes, just look like a workshop.
Yeah.
It's a workshop. You walk in and photography stuff in the living room set up for content. On the right is all my my candle packaging stuff. You go a little bit further, it's my candle making room where I got all my scents and
Now my
fragrances.
wife's gonna love you because you make candles.
I'm gonna have to bring you some.
Yeah, you got to bring me some candles.
I just started 3D printing.
3D printing.
3D printing. I got a couple of 3D printers, and I'm just like, I guess I'm a hobbyist.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Are you doing shirts and stuff like that? Or
No shirts with 3D printing. It's more like so I'm into video games, and so anime.
You anime
and Marvel and stuff. So
yeah.
The cosplay community is always looking for different anime weapons and different anime armor and masks and helmets. So I'm more so printing like plastic masks and
that's crazy
and all that stuff.
You need to get with my fraternity brother who was on my show last week. I
saw his shirt said Blurred. It said something about Blurred.
Yeah, that is his company, and Blurred is a black nerd. Yeah. So Blurred Over. That's what. Yeah. So anyway, he's into anime, big anime fan. Anyway, man, he just had an interesting story and he's a content provider. So, yeah. What is a pet peeve of yours?
A pet peeve of mine is just people that are inconsiderate. Just inconsiderate. Like if you won't tip a server at a restaurant, then that irked me.
Oh man, that's just low class too. I just think that's so low class.
Yeah. Like
in my opinion, that's just me.
It is. And sometimes you didn't learn that, but once you know it, if you still commit to like not expressing and expending some of your kind energy to other people.
Yeah, even if the server's one of the best, I don't go out to eat unless I can afford to. That's just my motto. My motto is, if we going out to eat, we got a tip. We know that's in the budget. And if we can't afford to go, then we should stay home. That's just me.
And I look for something good. Like if the food good, but if the service bad, I'll still give it to them.
Yeah.
If the food is mediocre, but the service is good, I'll still give it to them.
I have a tendency of talking to the waiter, though. I mean, like, look, give a tip, but man, next time, you got to do a little better than this. I mean, no disrespect to you, man, but I don't know what's going on back in the kitchen, but I'm just telling you this.
I definitely let them know.
Yeah.
Or leave a review or something like that.
Absolutely.
But it don't take that much. You got to mess up real bad to get on my bad side about that. And I still leave you probably the average, 15%.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way too, because I've eaten bad food, and it's just like, some people... I've been with some people, boy, nothing you can do to there's nothing you can do to satisfy that person.
Well, if you anything like me, if I have a bad meal, that's just gonna be my motivation to go, I can make this better. I 100% go home. Like I make about 6 different Olive Garden dishes at the house. I don't even go to Olive Garden no more. I just cook it.
And boy, that's funny because that's always my motive. Some of the reason why I don't go out to eat as much as I like, because I feel like I'm a better cook.
Yeah.
It's just that. I feel like I'm a better cook.
Yeah. There'll be sometimes I'll be like, I can make this better. And I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I know you do. What's your deepest regret? If you had one, what is it?
My deepest regret was my deepest regret would probably be letting my sister send me to Auburn.
Oh, man.
Instead of going to Jacksonville like I wanted to. Now, I learned some stuff from Auburn, but it was a hard lesson to learn. I didn't like that lesson. I don't want to call it a regret because I did gain something from it.
Yeah.
But that's one moment where when I talk to men and boys about learning to use their voice, that's where I would have wanted a boy to use his voice.
Yeah.
To say, I want to go to the school that I chose instead of the one that you're telling me that you want me to go to.
Yeah.
That was one of the things, that was one point where I would pivot somewhere differently.
Yeah.
If I could. There's a lot of places where I would pivot somewhere differently, but that's one of the earliest ones.
Well, hey, it's done. You got through it. You're done with it, man. So,
Definitely.
Hey, man, y'all give it up, man. Y'all, give it up for Eddie Sharp, CEO, owner, co-owner of
Restoring Hope.
Restoring Hope. Man, y'all give a round of applause for Eddie Sharp, man. Thank you for joining us, Eddie.
I appreciate your time and your energy, sir.
You gotta come back, man.
I'll be back whenever you want
You
me
need to come do a co-host show with me.
Bring me on.
I mean, because you funny and you got a lot of good insight, man.
Bring me on.
You gonna do it if I ask you?
I'll do it.
Okay. All right, y'all. Hey, guys, y'all heard him, man. I'm gonna hold him to it. And I'm gonna hold him to this first fry we're getting ready to have, man. Okay. Eddie, for one more time, man, for one last time, let everybody know how they connect. with you.
Find me on TikTok at Eddie B Talking. Find me on Instagram at Mr. MISTER_on point. Find me on everywhere else at just Eddie Lamar Sharp Jr. and you'll get me. I'll pop up on everything you got in Google with Eddie Lamar Sharp Jr. Facebook.
Hey man, if you got someone that needs counseling, you need someone that needs even you're a parent, you want you have someone, you got a kid that needs some insight, needs some counseling, man, y'all reach out to my guy Eddie. And all this information gonna be on my Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube. I'm gonna post it all over the place. So man, y'all make sure y'all connect with Eddie. And thank y'all for just being a part of this show, man. The month of May, Mental Health and Wellness Month. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Do the necessary things that you need to do for you so you can be better for somebody else. That's all I got to say with that, man. With that being said, man, if you're not part of the problem, you're part of the solution. This is Real Talk with Mike Steele. I'm out, man. Eddie be talking.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Go ahead, Eddie.
Hey, look, if I see my banana pudding recipe at some of these farmers market, I'm going to want my royalties.
Uh-oh. Hey, I was looking at the comment section, man. Hey, we look
I
at...
see it. I'm just playing, y'all. It's delicious. Everybody should try it.
Man, I'm going to try it. And when I try it, I might just go live for you guys, man. I'm going to try it, though. I mean, I like to eat. Man. So, Eddie, man, thank you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Man, we out of here.
All right, now.
Yo,